Being a fan of Gravity Falls while the show was airing was an absolutely unparalleled experience. Watching fans in real time try to figure out the pulsing mystery of the town and how 3 mysterious journals, a universe portal, and a dream demon all connect to each other. We all remember the theories that came true, but what has been lost to time are the theories that didn't. From the absurd to the absolutely improbable, here are the Gravity Falls theories that no one really remembers. I'm here with Trinity, a Gravity Falls fan who really only got into the show after it ended and who was not there to witness any of the insane antics on social media between 2012 and 2016. So I'm going to read theories to her. I've prepared for us a Gravity Falls Cipher file straight out of Season 2, Episode 15, and we're gonna rank them, I guess, on a scale of what, like
1 to 10. Dipper, the cool Dipper. Dippy Fresh. 1 out of 10 Dippy Freshes.
Wiggity wiggity, what's up, dude bros?
Dippy Fresh meter.
Dippy Fresh meter.
How many flip dips out of 10?
Flip a dip dip.
Our first theory, Trinity, is Tad Strange, Bill Cipher's secret twin brother.
Okay, I'm sorry.
There's a lot of evidence on this one.
Is there? I feel like there's not.
Okay, so let's set the scene. It's March of 2015.
Okay.
Gravity Falls just saw its biggest plot twist. We learned that the universe portal led to Stan's brother, the author of the journals. And then there was a massive billion-year wait until A Tale of Two Stans. It was 4 entire months. So Gravity Falls fans were just anxious for answers. So anxious for answers that they were making their own questions to find answers for. A few days after the episode dropped, eagle-eyed Gravity Falls fans noticed that actor Cecile Baldwin,
my name is Cecil Baldwin,
added Gravity Falls to his online resume, in which he voiced a character called Tad Strange. We know now that Tad Strange turned out to just be some random guy in Stanchurian candidate.
Hi guys, Tad's the name, and being normal's my game.
Series creator Alex Hirsch revealed later that Cecile just updated his online resume almost immediately after the recording session, despite being told not to. Alex Hirsch hosted a Reddit Ask Me Anything on April 2nd, 2015, in which he role-played as Bill Cipher. When someone asked who Tad Strange was, Hirsch, as Cipher, replied that Tad's a real square, and that is an objectively stupid shape. And that sparked a fire. Oh, also, there's some visuals for you to look at. So pull out the first file. There's quite a lot of evidence here.
The attention you put into it.
We just learned that Stan had a secret brother last week. So obviously, naturally, the show was going to do the exact same plot twist again. Within days, the internet decided that Tad Strange was a purple square demon with a bowler hat, Bill's more evil sibling who'd been pulling the strings all along. I've provided some images for you to look at underneath the screenshots.
Okay.
Multiple fans.
No, God.
There were hundreds of people
my God.
who decided that Tad Strange is a purple square.
Like, this is terrifying. These are real? People actually think these things?
Well, they thought them at the time. Now we know who Tad is.
Well, yeah. How did they even come up? They just wanted shapes. They just wanted to do more of the shapes. Yeah.
The triangle.
Where's the circle? Where's the oblong shapes?
There's no dodecahedron demon in Gravity Falls. Well, imagine being Cecile Baldwin.
Cecil Baldwin.
And not knowing what was going on.
Not knowing what this fandom is like. Now, obviously, this theory was disproved when the Stanchurian candidate aired 6 months after
Cecil Baldwin's
recording session, and Tad Strange was just some dude with 3 lines.
Oh, snap.
Luckily, though, due to the whole Tad Strange kerfuffle, there was enough production lead time to give him a little cameo in the Weirdmageddon finale in response to his unexpected, out-of-nowhere popularity.
This experience will forever scar Tad Strange.
So, that's all the evidence for the Tad Strange theories.
Okay, Tad Strange.
How many flip-a-dip-dips would you give this one?
God. Okay, are we going off of how bogus it is or how good, like, oh my God, I believe that?
Believability, let's say, plausibility.
Plausibility, I'm gonna give it 1 1/4 flip-a-dip-dips.
You're being generous.
I'm being so generous there.
I'm gonna give it just 1 flip-a-dip for creativity.
There's like a random concert going on over there.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you can hear this in our mics here, but there is some concert going on there and people are yelling and The way it's echoing just sounds like it's a cult ritual. The next one, Robbie is a zombie. Robbie,
Echoed.
the punk emo teen, is sometimes surrounded by death imagery. And the journal said that zombies are sometimes mistaken for teenagers.
Boom. No, they actually, you're kidding. This is a piece of evidence.
You're dead?
They took that seriously?
Zombies are dead. Okay, this one makes me laugh because how would Robbie hide the fact that he's a rotting corpse?
He's dripping and oozing all around. He's like, oh, sorry.
When he's like, Robbie, you smell like you died. Take a shower.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. It's just my new cologne.
It's like, I think the journal says they can be mistaken for teenagers at a glance, but we've spent so much time with Robbie, I think we would know if he was a zombie.
I'm pretty sure that's very clear. We're ready for flip dip dips on this one because I'm already ready.
Okay.
0.
Whoa.
0. Zilch. None. No
Okay.
flip dip dips. Not even allowed.
10. 10 flip a dip dips.
You believe Robbie is a
That
zombie?
is flip a dip, a 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 dip a dip.
Before I forget, I'd like to say thank you to Confusion Hill for letting us film in front of their Bill Cipher statue in the middle of the night. To clarify, this is not a sponsorship, but I just think it was really nice of them because it's their private property and someone lives there. Confusion Hill is a tourist trap outside of Piercy, California, the likes of which inspired the Mystery Shack, and it's been the home of the statue ever since the Cipher hunt. If you're ever in the area, be sure to check it out. It genuinely feels like you're in the Mystery Shack, and Grunkle Stan's gonna walk around the corner at any instant.
These are not officially licensed, these are fan art. Oh my god.
Our next theory is Mabel's secret clone, Lebam.
God, I knew about this one.
I told you about
Oh
this
my
one the
God.
other day as a palate cleanser. Or no, the opposite. Whatever,
Like
appetizer.
An appetizer.
An appetizer.
No, you warned me about this one, but I don't think I'm actually prepared for the evidence because you gave me a little taste. You gave me one taste.
I give you one piece of evidence. There's so many. You're gonna, your jaw's gonna drop and you're gonna stop laughing at this one.
Yes.
In some episodes, Mabel is left-hand dominant. In other episodes, Mabel is right-hand dominant. There's 2 Mabels.
Obviously, that's the only option is there's 2.
You can just look at the first 2. Pretty convincing.
I mean, looking at these, they're 2 different people.
Next, gnomes fell in love with Mabel specifically. Probably because she had deeper secret powers.
I hope you have evidence for this one.
That was the evidence. In Mabel's Guide to Romance, which is
Okay.
a little short film made by her, Mabel, she speaks with an off-screen cardboard cutout.
I love you so much, baby. Why won't you let me into your life?
You know what you did, Zach!
She's wearing a different sweater.
Yes, this one you showed. Yes, this one. You showed me. This is the one that he prefaced with, and it got me pissed.
Hey, take a chill pill. Those grow on trees here.
How dare children try to be creative?
This could have been shot on a different day.
I know that's the whole joke, is that her short has no production value or consistency because she's Mabel.
She's literally Mabel.
That's not all.
Okay.
In Boys Crazy, Mabel is at the bottom of the stairs as Grenda and Candy run up. But by the time they reach the top, she's already up there. How'd she get there? You might think that this is just a classic cartoon gag that's been in things since the 1960s, but you don't realize this is evidence of a clone. I think that every time the Scooby-Doo characters went through like a door in a hallway and then came out like a different door, they were cloning themselves.
It's the only way it works.
Gravity Falls had the key to figuring out Scooby-Doo, and we got it.
Yaboose?
What does that mean?
Books.
I don't know what that
would be Scooby-Doo's evil twin. Or Velma,
Almev and the Chipmunks. A lot of people claimed that Lebam would be the llama on the Bill Cipher wheel, because the first time we see the little llama symbol, Mabel's holding it up in the mirror, therefore reverse Mabel, Lebam is the llama. Alright, but the true smoking gun here is that in the deep end, Mabel receives bottle messages from Mermando. The first 4 that pop up say Mabel, and the last 2 say Lebam.
I want to know the actual meaning behind Lebam in this.
So Alex Hirsch has said on multiple occasions, Lebam was just an animation error.
Oh.
But that makes me laugh because how do you accidentally spell a word backwards? Like, it was animated overseas in South Korea. So some people have said, like, maybe it's not their first language, but it's like, when I was learning Spanish, I didn't spell hermanos backwards.
I mean, maybe I can see if it was like on the other side and they had to flip it in some sort of way
They
to make
didn't flip it horizontally, they just wrote the letters backwards.
This makes no sense to me.
I don't understand how that happened.
I really don't know. That's some that's some intern that just got fired right there. Yikes.
I don't understand how it didn't get fixed either, because you only have a limited budget for retakes. The longer something takes to do, the more expensive the retake is. With that, it's like you literally just retype the word, or even if they're hand-drawn, you just use the lasso and rearrange the letters. I don't understand how that took more than 5 minutes.
More bottles on the way.
That still blows my mind. Someone got fired. That's all.
I don't think anyone got fired.
No, probably
I think
not,
that was
but-
evidence of Lebam. An alternate theory also stated that Waddles was Mabel's secret twin from another dimension, but I'm not going to spend more than a second on that because there was no evidence.
No.
Banger.
I mean, well, Soos did become Waddles at one point, so I mean, it could be
So
possible.
Soos is Mabel's sister from the second dimension. No one figured it out.
We are right here. Clickbait. Soos is Mabel's evil sister.
Trans-masculine icon. Soos.
With the flag.
How many flip-a-dip-dips?
Out of believability, I want to give this 0, but honestly, I'll give this a little bit more credit than Tad Strange. So it'll be 3 flip-a-dip-dips.
I'm gonna give this one 5 flip-a-dip-dips. This one's not terrible. A gold-based secret society.
Okay.
In Boys Crazy, Stan mentions that he's stocking meat for the apocalypse, doodly-doo, and later he tells Robbie to bury his gold and that the apocalypse is coming. 2 episodes later, in Dreamscaper Urs, Bill tells Gideon to buy gold as well.
Look, if it makes you feel any better, the apocalypse is coming soon. Bury your gold.
Reality is an illusion. The universe is a hologram. Buy gold. Buy!
The repetition of this line convinced fans that Bill would bring about an apocalypse, and gold would be the only thing capable of defeating him. And they were half right in that regard, as Bill brought about an apocalypse. Stan's apocalypse prep was meant to just be a simple gag in the episode. It's just a jab at old paranoid men who listen to conspiracies on AM radio. It's not clear if this was intended to foreshadow Weirdmageddon, or if they'd even conceived Weirdmageddon that early in the series.
I listened to a lot of AM radio, so I knew what this meant. The plan's to stay in here and eat brown meat until we run out.
Stan, obviously, was completely oblivious to Bill or anything relating to Weirdmageddon at this point in the series. But after the line was repeated multiple times, it wasn't unreasonable to assume there was something of significance. Fans began looking at the gold necklaces on select characters, seeing how multiple hidden secret codes hinted at a secret society in Gravity Falls prior to the introduction of the Blind Eye Society. A golden necklace secret society was thought to maybe be the answer. Stan was thought to be a prominent member because a string board in Dipper's Guide to the Unexplained shows Dipper questioning if Stan's tattoo might be a secret society symbol. Even though this was just Dipper's random theorizing in the background, maybe meant to be a red herring, fans were 100% convinced that Stan was a member of whatever secret society Gravity Falls was hiding. Some people also misheard, "Finally, I have them all" in season 1's finale as "Finally, we have them all."
Finally, we have them all. Finally, we have them all.
And assume that this portal belonged to said secret society and was the key to defeating Bill. Now, why would Bill tell people to buy gold if that was his weakness? Where I'm sitting now, looking back, I feel like a theory that would have made sense is maybe Bill is controlling the gold-based society.
All of these are just old men wearing gold chains, by the way. This is all this
Gold
is.
Chains for Old Men magazine.
Yeah,
That's a good issue.
They're all the exact same one. So I can kind of see where they go with this. I mean, okay, they didn't know about the secret society yet.
I don't think this is a bad theory at all.
Honestly, I think this is as plausible as they can possibly come, because the whole point of Gravity Falls is to try to guess.
Yeah.
You know, so, I mean, it's just a lot of old men wearing gold chains, which, you know, looking fresh. I get it.
I'm gonna be generous with this one.
Yeah, I am too.
I'm gonna give this 10, but not a joke this time. They earned their 10 flip-a-dip-dips.
I'm gonna give it 8 flip-a-dip dips, but like an 8.5 in regular dips.
What the hell does that even mean?
Shit, my whole star is coming off. It's also being held together by duct tape. Right now,
Not just any duct tape.
but Pride
duct tape. It's like regular duct tape, but it costs more. We got you, gay people. By the time I had the idea to get a Mabel sweater, there wasn't enough time to buy one in the mail. And so I just got a blank pink shirt from the arts and crafts store, and we made the star.
But this is the wrong color?
I can explain this. Basically, in my defense, I got in the fabric store, and I just remembered I forgot what colors they were, so I just kind of did my best guess. Because basically, like, I didn't have my phone on me. I was gonna Google it, but I left it in the car, and I was not gonna like walk into the store, then walk right back out, and then walk right back in, because there's some lady at the door being like, "Hi, welcome to Joann's," and I didn't want to embarrass myself in front of this lady I was never gonna see again, so I just guessed.
So you make me look like a fool?
Well, I got one of the 3 colors right, and I got the star yellow, so.
At least.
Yeah. Dipper from the future wrote the journals. It's the next theory.
That would have been so cool. That would have been so cool. Honestly, I was kind of expecting Stanford to be like a Dipper in the future or something like that.
Well, let me lay out the evidence.
Okay, so I'm gonna be disappointed.
Dipper really likes the journals, and there is time travel in the show Gravity Falls. How's that?
Wait, I'm sorry.
That's all.
You didn't finish.
No, that's all.
Kian.
That's all there is.
Kian, there's more, right?
Huh?
Is this one clickbait video that's like, Dipper from the future?
Secrets revealed, confirmed?
Confirmed?
They actually acknowledged this theory in a promo for Society of the Blind Eye. The Disney XD wacky narrator's like, who wrote the journals?
Who wrote the journals? What? Who wrote the journals?
Stan? Something? These guys in robes? Dipper from the future?
Stan, Gideon, McGucket, these guys in robes, Dipper from the future?
So, they acknowledged that fan theory, at least in official promotional material. How many flippy dips?
I want to give it 0, but like honestly, I feel like I don't have an opinion on it because it's just so outlandish.
I'll give it 2 flippers.
I was gonna say like 1 3/4. Yeah, I'll give it some.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Our next theory, Gompers the goat, is Bill's puppet. People believed that Bill was possessing Gompers the goat to spy on the Pines family because Gompers' eyes were yellow. He showed up in the first episode, and the geniuses behind Gravity Falls wouldn't introduce a goat if it wasn't important to the overarching narrative of the show. Turns out that the reason Gompers' eyes looked the way they did is because that's what Goat's eyes actually look like.
I see that here. You provided a great visual aid here of a very lovely looking goat.
I wish that goat was my child. That means that Bill Cipher was just like eating random cans in the backyard. He was just eating the license plate of the manager.
But also, Bill Cipher wasn't introduced until the last episode of season 1 or something like that.
Second to last.
Second to last episode of season 1, so he wasn't even brought back into the universe until that point. Like,
he planned ahead.
He decided to be in a goat. I watched a little bit of this show when it first came out, and I didn't really get into it until recently, like he said, but, and I think all y'all can agree with me maybe, when Dipper gets possessed by Bill, when Bill changes outfits, you can't tell me that. He's looking good.
You know, he's 12.
I was 12 at the time.
Okay.
You can't tell me I'm wrong. Gretchen.
Camera person. What are your thoughts on Bill Dipper, or Bipper as the kids say, as the Tumblr shippers say?
He's cute, right?
I have to say the animators did put in their entire diplomacy into that. And I did have my sexual awakening, unfortunately. And I apologize.
As a 12-year-old, you look at that and be like, oh, he's tall now.
Absolutely. He has longer legs.
He looks so tall. Where did his legs go?
Speaking of Bill possessions, I had a theory back in the day about who Bill was possessing. No one else had this theory. I think like my first ever YouTube comments were typing that this was my theory and no one ever responded or cared, but I'm going to say it here, okay? At the end of Sock Opera, Mabel has a bad dream by her puppet, okay? And then she wakes up, she's like, ah! And then she turns the puppet away from her. I thought that Bill was possessing her puppet because he's a dream demon and she had a bad dream. And so I believed that so hard that eventually I developed a Mandela effect where I thought that was actually what happened.
Okay, what's weird is that I straight up, because you edited this, you posted it on Instagram and like you did like a little short of it, you know, straight up, I feel like I remember that happening. Why wasn't that a thing? I feel like that could have been a really good piece of the episode, like just that little tidbit.
Bill's always watching.
He's always watching.
Like he doesn't have to continue being in the sock. It just like
the sock is mutually exclusive to this one episode, but it just feels like that should have happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with this. How many Dip-a-Dips?
Oh, Gompers? Yeah, that's right. We were on Gompers. I'll give it 4 Flip-a-Dip-Dips. I'm sure most kids don't know what goat's eyes look like. How many have you like longingly, lustfully stared at a goat trinity?
Yes, Kian. I'm looking at one right now.
Okay, fuck. No, I mean like greatest of all time or like Survivor Goat where you're dragged to the final 3 and you get no votes.
I've never watched Survivor.
You're
and
missing
I know
out,
hate me
dude.
for that.
Season 43 is coming out soon. Get on board.
Survivor 43 next.
Dude, that's been on longer than I've been alive.
Yeah,
way
me
longer.
too.
That could be my mom, bro.
Wait, it's a year older than you.
Do they do multiple seasons a year?
They do 2 seasons per year.
You're fucking kidding me.
1 in every 7 seasons. It's good. It's my
You're
favorite
kidding.
show. 3 flips.
2. This concert is like really creepy.
This concert's going fucking buck wild.
In the middle of nowhere, they decide.
It's fucking scary. I'm like, I don't know if it's a concert and I don't know if it's just a ritual because it fucking sounds like one.
Dude, we drove like 8 hours to get here in the middle of buttfuck nowhere, and they were like,
Who's playing?
Who's playing?
T.I.?
Our next theory. In Weirdmageddon 4, somewhere in the woods, we briefly see a live-action video of a statue of Bill Cipher. Some fans speculated that this was a real statue hidden somewhere in the woods. What a sexy man. Do you want to talk to him with a spirit box? Bill. Ooh, I'm gonna fall over. Are you real? Bill, if you're in there, is there anything you'd like to say to us? I'm not hearing anything. I'm gonna put in the headphones and have an intimate conversation with Bill Cipher. Yo, what up? He said he's gonna kill my wife, my son, and my infant daughter. I don't know what that means. This is probably the most well-known fake theory. Old man McGucket wrote the journals.
I believed that.
Dude.
I was on message board.
I got it.
Dude, this makes so much
Dipper from the future.
Poor Dipper.
Old man McGucket.
Son won't talk to him.
I mean, at least he's got a dope-ass beard.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He fits a raccoon in there.
Yeah.
About halfway through season 1, the consensus among the fandom was that the author was Stan's secret brother. They pretty much figured it out completely from the foreshadowing. There wasn't any major alternative theory at this time because the show didn't really present any red herrings, but that was about to change. On April 9th, 2013, an anonymous 4chan user posted what appeared to be an image of a younger, 6-fingered McGucket writing the journals in the Disney editing suite, which they claimed they saw on a walkthrough tour of the Disney TVA building. It was very clearly the show's art style, and this was swept up across the fandom. The next day, Alex Hirsch tweeted, "Fuming right now," and promptly deleted it after a few hours. McGucket was now the leading theory. And it made a lot of sense. His hand was in a cast. Maybe Bill cut off his finger and drove him insane. Both him and the author were associated with all kinds of eccentric technology. This quickly became the leading theory, and to make it more realistic, a production photo from Gideon Rises had been leaked earlier with the same kind of production codes on it. And that exact shot turned up in the actual episode. Then, Society of the Blind Eye dropped. McGucket wasn't the author, and Alex Hirsch revealed that he made the original post on 4chan as a red herring. He quickly boarded the frame on a sticky note and had episode director Joe Pitt draw it up. They put it on the screen, gave it a time code, and posted it. After the McGucket hoax, Stan became the main theory again, and by that point we were 4 episodes away from the reveal, so it didn't really matter. And then it was just deeply satisfying when it happened, because we all guessed it so long ago.
Alex Hirsch, thank you. Thank you.
That was, like, honestly, the McGucket hoax, almost more iconic than anything that happened in the show itself.
Honestly, because I feel like that would have made so much sense if McGucket was the one that did the journals, which he was there to, you know, help him, but like, dude, but also Alex Hirsch, he was like, we're gonna throw him off the trail. We're gonna make these hoax-hungry fans even more hoax-hungry and make a hoax.
So then in the year between season 1 and season 2, no one was talking about the secret brother anymore because we all thought it was McGucket. So that was...
He just wanted us to shut up.
That was his genius play, yeah.
But also this tweet is amazing. 1, make hoax. 2, upload to 4chan. 3, post angry tweet about leak. 4, delete tweet. 5, let internet do rest.
I find it funny that he posted it on 4chan because it seems like the opposite of the show's actual fandom.
Everything.
Like, I feel like Tumblr would be the Gravity Falls fandom. Tumblr is like a bunch of like progressive leftist women, and then 4chan is just like goblins. Like Tumblr is just like, oh my god, what if these street characters were gay? And 4chan is just like, let's commit genocide, boys. This deserves the full 10.
Dude, I'm seriously giving this 10.5.
Shit, 11.
I'm gonna give it 11.
Bidding war. 12 flip-a-dip-dips.
12 flip-a-dip-dips for every finger that Stanford has.
Good counting. Good counting there. I had to think about it.
Oh, thanks.
Not gonna lie, young McGucket.
What is your problem?
He was hot.
McGucket?
Young McGucket.
Oh, he was cute, I guess.
Okay, this is a whopper.
Burger King?
Ew. Robbie's secret clone.
What's with them and clones? What is with them and clones?
Hear me out.
What is with these?
This one slaps.
Okay.
This one goes hard. Many fans of Gravity Falls believe that Robbie had a secret clone, and there were 3 major pieces of evidence. In Double Dipper, Wendy asked Robbie if he remembers Dipper from the convenience store, and Robbie's like, no. So obviously, that was Robbie's clone at the convenience store.
Robbie's also just like an incel, and he doesn't give a crap about anything. So like, he remembers this 12-year-old kid running around and scurrying along. Like, no.
Like, the whole point of that line is he's just a jerk. Like,
yeah, he's just a fucking jerk. Like, what?
And then potentially that could be explained by, retroactively, Society of the Blind Eye, because we see he got his Rumble McSkirmish memories erased. So that could actually be like a retroactive explanation, but I think it was originally just intended to be Robbie's a jerk and doesn't remember. A second piece of evidence was that Robbie appears at the front of the crowd in Gideon Rises to celebrate little Gideon getting the mystery shack, but 2 minutes later in the episode, included in which there is a scene change, Robbie's at the back of the crowd.
Thanks for visiting Gideon Land, friends! Don't come back. I don't care for y'all.
Take me back, Wendy! My arms are too skinny to keep holding this boombox forever!
So it's presumably this was like a 5-minute period of time in universe, maybe a little more. Robbie moved places within a 5-minute stretch of time.
Man.
Seems a little sus.
I like the idea how the fans didn't know that Robbie has legs and that he's capable of
moving
bilateral mobility.
The smoking gun of this one is a shot in the inconveniencing, which you have there. It's the bottom one. We see the reflections of Wendy and Tambry in the glass, but Robbie isn't properly reflected, if you see. Therefore, that was his clone's reflection.
What do you mean? I mean, he's got a little bit of he's got like a frown, I guess.
No.
Oh, and his hair is just.
It's just
they
hair.
just copied and pasted that shit.
It's his hair. So first off, it's like, why would his clone have like a different reflection?
It's like he thinks that he's in a different dimension or something.
Yeah.
But like, what does that mean?
That was the leading evidence.
So their animation, I can't. They copied and pasted that.
Well, no, actually, I know the explanation. That was not actually, though, I'm here to explain that shot. That's not an animation error at all. That was animated and drawn completely correctly. Wendy and Tambry are asymmetrical characters. Wendy's drawn so the hanging bangs are always on the left side of her head. Tambry's drawn so her purple streak is always on the right side of her head. Robbie, however, is a symmetrical character. He's drawn exactly the same whether he's facing left or facing right. If you take the left-facing Robbie shot and flip it, it works as a right-facing Robbie shot, and vice versa. So in the mirror, they took Tambry's right view, flipped it horizontal, took Wendy's right view, flipped it horizontal, took Robbie's right view, and flipped it horizontal. So technically the geometry doesn't match, but that's because it's a cartoon, and a lot of cartoon characters don't make complete geometric sense.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But the fact that they couldn't pick up on that, like the kids that were watching this show. I mean, okay, like you're 12 years old, I get it.
What's funny in going back and watching all of those videos is just how limited these kids' understanding of the world is. Like during Bill's introductory scene, he shows images of John F. Kennedy and he shows images of the moon landing when he says, I know lots of things.
I know lots of things.
And then in one of the videos, like, it shows John F. Kennedy. It's like, who is this? Why would they show us this? What does this mean for the show? And then on the moon landing, it's like, does this foreshadow that they're going to space? And it's like, no, it's the Kennedy assassination and the moon landing hoax. It's just like Bill knows things, but like when you're a kid, you don't have the outside perspective of those things. And so you think you're trying to, you know, put the pieces together, but you just don't have like the outside knowledge to know that's not a theory or foreshadowing of anything. That's just the moon landing.
That's just the moon landing, bro. I feel like at 12 years old, I wouldn't have picked that up either.
So let's flip a dip, the son of a bitch.
I feel like I can't be generous with that.
We're gonna punish kids for having creativity.
0.5 flip a dip dips.
That's pretty low.
That's really low.
We gave Dipper from the future more and there was no evidence. Okay, fine, I'll give this one 1. Gideon is a demon. It's our next theory.
Okay.
During the time travel in Blendon's game, we see a billboard for a Bud Gleeful just had a baby sale. But the word baby is crossed out and replaced with the word demon. Next, the tended telepathy insignia kind of looks like a pentagram and it has an eye in the middle. So, hear me out.
Okay.
Gideon is actually a star-shaped demon, just like Bill. She's shaped with an eye in the middle.
They're just looking for shapes. Like a triangle, okay, respectable. A square, okay, I can get past that. But then a fucking star? Come on, dude. They were literally just like grasping at some shapes to make it something.
You're a hater.
I am.
How many flippy dips?
Someone saw this and took it seriously. I'm giving it 0.25. I'm giving it a quarter of a dippy dip.
I'm gonna give it 0.24 because I'm the bad cop here. The Five-Fingered Secret Society. So we knew that there was a secret society, and before the blind eye was revealed, an alternate theory was that there's a secret society of people with 5 fingers. So you see, some Gravity Falls characters had 4 fingers, and some had 5. Alex Hirsch said on social media it was just an artistic choice based on what looked best for the character. But we didn't trust old Alex.
Why would we?
Sinner, liar. After that McGucket hoax, no one ever trusted him again. Fans believed that the creators would not do anything without a true purpose behind it. But it turns out, in the end, that the purpose behind it was just a stylistic choice for each character, and that was the end of the story.
The fans always try to give so much credit to, like, the creators, Alex Hirsch, which, genius man, love him, you know? Too much credit. They'll throw anything in. They don't care.
Breaking Bad fans are the worst. They'll just see like a puddle in one episode and be like, dude, 5 seasons later, someone fell in a puddle. Bravo, Vince Gilligan. Let's dip this flip.
I mean, I guess I'll give it a 3.
2. I'll give it a 2. I never liked this one. I was a bit of an intellectual child, and I didn't believe most of these.
Well, I mean, there was a secret society, so I guess if they really didn't know what was happening, they could have went that route, but no.
Soos knows about Stan's portal.
Soos is too dumb for that.
Hold on though. Actually, this one had like actual evidence. And I'm not joking though, you don't believe me now. It's a boy called Wolf, but this one did. So in an online flash game on the Disney.com website called Rumble's Revenge, there were a ton of hidden decipherable codes. And almost all of them panned out to be something that actually happened in the show. One code read, "The handyman knows more than you think." So I doubt the Disney interns were typing these up, like the Gravity Falls staff and writers wrote the codes. I think that's especially evident seeing as all the other codes in the game actually played out in the show. In Dreamscapers, Bill tells the group,
"You know, I'm impressed with you guys. You're a lot more clever than you look, especially the fat one."
He's talking about you.
This raised the question really of whether Soos's dim-witted nature was just a ruse, and he was kind of shedding suspicion from him by saying it was Mabel. In Dreamscapers as well, Soos opens a door in Stan's mind, sees Stan entering the secret vending machine and about to say what's behind it, and he just decides that it's boring and he closes the door. Maybe he finds it boring because he already knows about it.
But then in a later episode, Stan tells him like, you know that vending machine in the Mystery Shack? Then, protect it with your life.
No. This was like people theorizing that back in season 1 and early season 2.
Because they really didn't know what was going on.
No, this was before Not What He Seems.
Ah.
This one made sense. Obviously Soos is still the naive goofball by the end of the show, which makes me genuinely wonder if they had plans for him that just didn't pan out because they seeded those hints. So maybe they're writing Not What He Seems and they say like, this episode works better if Soos doesn't know. They change the direction. Maybe they thought like, it's just a flash game. We don't have to adhere to everything we put in a flash game. I think that makes sense. Like, I don't know. I'm introducing a new theory that maybe they originally planned for Soos to know and they changed their minds later.
I feel like that is kind of a plausible, Soos could have known anything, but then if we know that the Society of the Blind Eye was around, at any point his memory could be erased of something.
That's true, maybe he did know about the portal.
I feel at some point, really honestly, I feel like that is kind of an out for them though, to be like, well, the story didn't really make sense. Their memories were erased.
The Blind Eye came after everyone in town except for our 5 main characters who had never been affected by it.
Yeah, right?
Because they didn't erase Lazy Susan's memory of the Blind Eye itself, they just erased her memories of the gnomes. So I think theoretically everyone in town knows about the Blind Eye Society.
I feel like they would have known, yeah. Like, how did they keep that a secret?
Considering they spray painted their logo all across town.
Yeah, and this dude, I don't know if he was out and about, but he had tattoos all over his skull and stuff. I feel like that's kind of hard to hide.
For years. For like 7 or 8 years, I was always under the impression there was one more hidden code in a book that didn't come to fruition. In Dipper and Mabel's Guide to Mystery and Non-Stop Fun, which is a book that's released around Society of the Blind Eye and had a ton of codes for season 2, all of which panned out, there was one code that said, the gnomes have a clear view of the Northwest Manor. And for years, I just assumed this was an abandoned plot line, something they had ideas for that never panned out. I just found out a couple days ago that was relevant to the 3DS game. So they were seeding a hint to that game. So for 7 years, what I thought was just a forgotten seed actually paid off somewhere, and I had no clue. I'd just been in my head for years. So Soos knowing about Stan's portal, how many flips?
I kind of feel I think you talked me more into it, because at first I'm like, Soos is just stupid, no. But honestly, he was there for so long, he probably did know at some point something. I'll give it 5.
I'm gonna give this one 10 because they literally put actual codes in the game that said the handyman knows more than you think. This is something that I just need to outreach to the internet for. I remember this being a thing back in the day. I could find no evidence of it anywhere on the internet. But I remember there was this supposed fake leaked image of a super manly Waddles just holding Dipper in his arms. And as a kid, I thought it looked real and I thought it was a real leak. Kind of like the fake McGucket. And obviously a fan just made it. I can't find it. I want to see this picture again. I haven't seen it in 10 years. Next theory. Bill and Dipper are from space.
What?
So there was often Starfield imagery masked to Bill when he appeared. Therefore, he's from space. He has all the powers of space. Stan's portal, meanwhile, seems to lead to space. The logical conclusion here is, I'm quoting from a video directly, Stan will use the portal's unimaginable power to get more power than Bill's Cipher, ultimately having a duel with Bill in season 2. Are you shocked? This is most likely what will happen. It makes the most sense.
it doesn't make the most sense. It doesn't. I think the fans thought that Stan had a lot bigger plans with that portal, but it was literally just, he wanted his brother back.
Stan barely even knew what it was.
Yeah, he really didn't know. Like,
he really was like the most oblivious character in the show.
Which is interesting because he knew a lot more than he let on.
Yeah.
But
he still didn't know that much.
Yeah, he really didn't know that much.
Because Ford didn't tell him anything.
So he didn't even know Bill was a thing? Like, he didn't
never
give a
met
shit.
Bill until the end. He didn't even, I don't think he knew Bill existed. Actually, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, like he didn't know.
Dipper's birthmark was a constellation. It's the Big Dipper across his forehead. It's treated as just a one-off joke in Double Dipper to explain his nickname, inspired by Alex Hirsch having a classmate whose forehead acne resembled a constellation, according to him. It's shown prominently in Dipper and Mabel versus the Future. When looking the episode a couple days ago, I realized I've been wrong for 7 years. I thought that the computer display that was taking Ford away showed the Big Dipper, because I guess I just forgot what the Big Dipper looked like when the episode came out. And so I thought that the computer was taking Ford to the Big Dipper, and then Dipper had the Big Dipper. So I thought this was I thought this was gonna like be important. I thought I thought his birthmark was going to be significant to the story. And when the finale happened and then nothing happened, I was like, they left his birthmark as a loose end, but I don't think it was a loose end. I think it was just a birthmark as a joke that they had to keep showing every time his hair lifted.
I can't get over these clickbait videos, these fan videos. Are you shocked?
I watched hundreds of these. How would you rank Bill and Dipper are from space and Stan's gonna use the portal to get power and fight Bill? Are you shocked? It's most likely what will happen. It makes the most sense. I memorized that.
I mean, Bill's from space, technically.
He's from a different dimension.
He's from what you would consider space.
Yeah.
But, like, not at all. I give that... maybe if Stan knew more, but I'm gonna give it a 1. Because maybe Stan knew more than he was leading on, but I don't think so.
For the fucking confidence of, are you shocked? Yeah. It's most likely what will happen. It makes the most sense. I'm giving this a full 10. Toby Determined is a wax figure. So in Headhunters, Toby has a hole in his shoe. Exactly like the wax figures. Yeah, this was just a storytelling contrivance to make Toby work as a red herring before the wax figure reveal. Like how would you now we'd notice if he were made of wax. Actually, we're dead naming him. He's actually Bodacious T now.
Bodacious T, excuse me.
We're sorry.
Don't call me Toby anymore. Call me Bodacious T.
No one will ever call you that.
So 0.
Oh yeah, no, this is not even a theory even close.
Theory 15, Burger King foot lettuce. This is the owl-based secret society.
So many secret societies, they couldn't pick one.
So a random block of text on the aforementioned Dipper's Guide to the Unexplained short said the following. All secret societies worship a hyper-intelligent barn owl named Dwayne the Enforcer Roosevelt. Most meetings consist of saying the secret oath, dressing in robes, hooting, gluing owl feathers to their skin, and devouring Gophers whole in honor of their beloved barn owl overlord. But not all secret societies worship barn owls. Some of them worship western screeching owls. Also other owl-related jokes. In addition, owls, 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 owls. Despite the fact that this is just a general reference to secret societies' general affiliation with owls, and despite the fact that Society of the Blind Eye was literally mentioned in the same block of text, fans' main takeaway here was that the secret society in Gravity Falls would be owl-based. Obviously, Stan was a key member of the secret society, and the goal was to defeat Bill, so probably owls were gonna be the key to defeating Bill. Pretty good.
Rock solid.
I'm gonna give this 0.
I appreciate the sentiment for them, but I as well am gonna give this 0 dippity dips. Okay, next theory.
Stan and McGucket have a secret connection.
I mean, maybe?
In the Gravity Falls Season 2 poster, Stan's hat and McGucket's hat appear on the ground. According to a fan video, the connection is confirmed in all caps. The presence of the Blind Eye members on the same poster also confirms that McGucket and Stan belong to that society. Stan's hat and McGucket's hat simply being on the ground without them also confirms that they will go missing in Season 2. This is basic visual symbolism 101, Trinity, and you think it's laughable?
I'm sorry. The last sentence of this clickbait. Do you guys know what this means? It's confirmed that Grunkle, Stan, and McGucket have some connection with each other. It's confirmed.
Did Stan even know that McGucket had worked for his brother?
No way.
I don't think he would have ever known that because McGucket had lost his mind by that point.
Well, and also, Stan and Ford hadn't been, like, friends for a long time.
Stan and Ford saw each other for, like, an hour. I'll give it 0. Let's be brutal today.
Okay, well, 10 because, yes, it's confirmed they know each other, but other than that, fucking 0. 0.
McGucket will free the Shapeshifter. This one came exclusively from me. This was my theory as a kid. During Not What He Seems, McGucket runs away and he says,
When that machine activates, I gotta get out of town!
Canonically, during that time, he goes into the bunker because we had Old Man McGucket's Conspiracy Corner shorts that I think they aired as advertisements or put online. And then Alex Hirsch also confirmed on Twitter that he went into the bunker during that time. So I thought that was gonna factor into the show, I assumed. He showed up in a crowd, like by accident, in Stan Shurian Candidate. I can't find the tweet, but I remember Alex replied to someone and he was like, McGucket came out for snacks, basically. That's his explanation. You know who else is in the bunker where McGucket went? The Shapeshifter, who McGucket wouldn't know was in there. Okay, also, in Journal 3, it claims that Ford and McGucket sealed the Shapeshifter down there themselves, but that doesn't line up with the actual continuity presented in the show, because when Ford was down in the bunker, he was paranoid as hell. He was stocking emergency supplies for 30 years, and the Shapeshifter knew he was paranoid because he said that six-fingered nerd hasn't been himself in 30 years. Ford didn't become paranoid until after McGucket went through the portal. So McGucket could not have been there for sealing the Shapeshifter down there because he had already left before Ford got deeply paranoid and insane. So anyways, the journal is like straight up wrong about that. So within the context of the show, McGucket cannot logically know the Shapeshifter's trapped down there. So at the end of the last Mabel corn, Bill says he needs a puppet outside the shack. I don't know why he waited until the 6th to last episode of the show to think of that. He had other things on his mind, I guess. Like Dipper's the only person he thought to possess across all 42 episodes before he was like, oh hey, other people exist. So Bill needs a puppet outside the shack. I thought that McGucket was gonna go down there. There's gonna be an episode where he accidentally frees the Shapeshifter, and then like Bill possesses the Shapeshifter because he can literally be everyone, and then that would bring full circle the trust no one, like Ford's paranoia would pay off. And I can see why they didn't do that, because the whole central message of the show is that trust no one is wrong. If Bill had possessed the Shapeshifter in like the final stretch of the show, it'd be a little bit hard to have that message because it would just be blatantly false. Like you could not trust anyone in that. So that's probably why they didn't do it, or they just didn't have the idea. Anyway, that's what I thought was gonna happen. Banger, 20 out of 10, flip-a-dib-dibs. Whoever came up with this is a genius. It's a really good, really good.
I would give it like a 7 out of 10, but also I don't think McGucket would have went into the bunker, but I don't see why anyone didn't go in the bunker. Like that was 30 years worth of food and no one went down there.
The gnomes were hungry throughout the show. They could have just gone down there.
Solid.
Like as a little kid, my theories were so much better than everyone else's. I was so intelligent, yo.
Yo.
New theory. Mabel will get erased from the timeline. In the movie Back to the Future, Marty meets Doc at the Twin Pines Mall. Then he travels back to 1955 and runs over a pine tree, knocking it down. When he returns to the present 1985 at the end of the movie, he's at the Lone Pine Mall. Mabel and Dipper's last names are Pines. Dipper has a lone pine tree on his hat.
I see no evidence here.
Well, see, the thing is, Alex Hirsch was so fucking smart that he foreshadowed the plot of Gravity Falls and Back to the Future from 1985, the year he was born. Like, he planned ahead. Bravo, Vince. Bravo, Alex.
No.
Not bad. Pretty good.
How could she have possibly been deleted from anything?
Well, it was going to happen eventually.
They had 2 seasons. What?
Well, we didn't know it was only going to be 2 seasons at the time. See, we had no clue how long the show was going to last.
Only 2 seasons. This is honestly a war crime.
It made me sad, but I think it's good that it was short and sweet.
Yeah, it honestly...
Because if it had gone on to season 3, we would have had more episodes like Roadside Attraction.
Oh, God.
Okay.
Can we talk about that real quick?
You know what's sick, though, is that on the Redwood Highway here, we drove past all of the roadside attractions that the Gravity Falls writers drove to between seasons 1 and 2 that then retroactively inspired Roadside Attraction. So it's like, yo, there's the Paul Bunyan that shows up at the Mystery Mountain there. There's the, the Gravity House is here, which inspired the Upside Down House. So we've been seeing like the full inspiration for the worst episode of the show right here. It's been pretty cool.
Yeah, we live, luckily, in the west side of the country.
Don't dox us.
Huh?
How many dippy flips are we giving Mabel will be erased from the timeline?
Is this even a question?
Can we give this one a negative number?
Yeah, I'm gonna give this a -2.
-2, yeah. Not very good. This one was strongly believed for a long time. Bill and Stan have history.
Okay, this one actually, I feel like they could have added something in there, but also, no.
Fans thought that Bill and Stan had a hidden history due to Bill's Cipher imagery throughout the Mystery Shack and Bill's reaction when he hears Stanford Pines' name from Gideon, hinting at a deeper familiarity.
Ah, wait! Stan Pines. You know what, kid? You've convinced me.
In Carpet Diem, an episode which had a lot of foreshadowing and clues, Stan's randomly outside at night, and when he gets hit with a golf ball, we just hear him yell like, "Why am I even out here at night?"
Why am I even out here at night?
So maybe Bill was controlling him and making him walk outside at night. That's why Stan was so oblivious to the paranormal in season 1, is because Bill was taking over his body.
Do you think Stan would be hot if Bill took over him?
Eventually, we learned that Bill's connection with Stanford was with Stanford Pines. I don't think that clicked. I think the reveal was supposed to be, oh, that's who Bill has history with. But fans still fully expected Stanley and Bill to have like this connection between them going all the way to the end of the show, because I don't think they processed the subversion there. And I guess in the end, Stan wound up defeating Bill, which ultimately satisfied fans, although I don't know if that was intentionally foreshadowed from the beginning. I don't think it actually was. I think we just accidentally thought it was foreshadowed. Also, you know what's a goddamn plot hole?
What?
Season 2 establishes that Bill can't enter someone's mind unless they make a deal.
You know the rules, Bill. You may be able to haunt my dreams, but you can't enter my mind unless I shake your hand and let you in.
But Bill literally entered Stan's mind in Dreamscapers because Gideon just told him to. So it's like, couldn't Bill have just gotten one of his hench maniacs to just tell him to enter Ford's mind, according to the show's own logic?
Back in sock opera, the handshake was to take over Dipper's body, not to enter his mind. So they were changing the rules for Bill as the show went along.
Bill had plot holes surrounding him, man.
I feel like they didn't know that they were going to do that at the very end.
He only showed up like 3 times per season to keep him, a threat, because if he was defeated all the time, that'd make him pathetic. But the unintended consequence of that is that he's just like, there's 100 billion trillion things he could have done to like break Weirdmageddon, break the rift. He just didn't do any of them.
Yeah.
Like, he could have just made a deal with the Shapeshifter during Into the Bunker. His whole goal is for Stan to activate the portal. But in sock opera, he's like, Dipper, you've been coming way too close to finding real answers. And then he's trying to burn the journal so Dipper doesn't find out about the portal, but wouldn't he want Dipper to find out about the portal? Why didn't he help Stanley build the portal during that 30 years? Like, he could have told Stanley where the other journals are, because Gideon and Dipper didn't find theirs until way later. The other two were just buried in a forest for 28, 30 years, I guess, and Stanley never looked for them or something. But Dipper found it by accident on the first day. Bill could have appeared in Stanley's dreams and been like, yo, Stanley, I'll help you find your brother, I'll help you find the journals. Because he was trying to be all nice and friendly to trick Ford, but then he'd be no attempt to be nice to anyone else. Like when he's just talking to Dipper and Mabel, he just like, yeah, I'm a villain, whatever. He made no attempt to pretend to be the nice guy to get the portal, opened.
But wasn't the whole point that Bill wasn't introduced until Gideon brought him there? So how could he just show up in dreams?
Gideon summons him in Dreamscapers, and maybe, I guess the explanation is that, he's back in Gravity Falls for the first time.
Oh, Gravity Falls, it is good to be back!
But why did he leave? Because he was talking to Stanford 30 years ago, perfectly fine, appearing in his dreams as his muse or whatever. Stanford goes through the portal. How did that cut off Bill's connection to Gravity Falls? Bill is a chaotic genius, but his story actually makes no sense. Like, they perfectly catered the story to support Dipper and Mabel and Stan and Wendy's and Soos's emotions. They did not really work on making Bill a consistent or logical character.
No. So I would give this a couple dippity dips, maybe 1 or 2.
Yeah, I'll give it 3. Next one. Gideon is Bill Cipher. Gideon and Bill both get mad when they don't get what they want. They both get defeated by having weaknesses. They're both evil. The writers of Gravity Falls wouldn't write 2 characters with similar traits without a greater purpose. Does Gideon become Bill later in the timeline?
Bill is literally like a thing.
He's a fucking triangle.
He
Gideon just got in a triangle-shaped car presser, just like crushed, and then he was just like, yo, I'm yellow now, bitches.
Bill is the universe. Like, he helped create that. Like, he isn't a human. He's not like...
Maybe he used to be. Can you prove he didn't used to be?
Well, he's been alive since the beginning of time, so...
Well, there's time travel.
What do you mean they have similar traits? Stanford and Stanley have similar traits.
I think we're just gonna rip off the Band-Aid. I'm afraid this one has -5.
Yeah.
It's just not very good.
Yeah, no. I'm going with him on this one.
Gideon's mom is Carla McCorkle. In Boys Crazy, Stan tells a story about a woman he loved in the 70s, only for her to be stolen away by a hippie. In The Hand That Rocks the Mabel, Bud Gleeful says on an infomercial, Carla, I've always loved you, but I've never had the guts to say it, as it scrolls by rapidly.
Yeah.
The theory posits that Ms. Gleeful is Carla. Bud is the hippie who stole Carla McCorkle from Stan. Then both of them completely and fundamentally changed in appearance, settled in Gravity Falls, and then Bud told his own wife for the first time that he loved her via a commercial 10 years after they had their son. A follow-up theory posits that Miss Gleeful has gone insane due to the mystery of the town, and she'd be important to the overall narrative. However, believing this theory requires completely missing the joke because she's just traumatized because Gideon is her son. That's the whole point of her character. One bone I will throw is that a vial of Miss Gleeful's memories appears in Society of the Blind Eye, which means that Bud erased his own wife's memories at some point.
Yeah, this has no balance to it at all, but like I have no words for this one because that's really grasping at straws. Literally the scenes where Miss Gleeful is shown, she's like traumatized, like you said, like she's literally
Gideon's
like
so mean to her.
Yeah.
Just keep vacuuming, just keep vacuuming. I think that's her only line.
Yeah, that's her only line. Like, what? I feel like they're just grasping to try to find semblance in something, and this little Carla, I've always loved you, but never had the guts to say it. I'm sure that was just a joke that, like...
They just happened to use the name Carla twice.
Yeah, like knowing, you know, or maybe that was one of the director's wives or something.
One of the director's wives, he had multiple.
0 out of 10.
I never believed it. I'll give it 3 out of 10 for creativity.
Yeah, they're quite creative with this, and I'm not taking away the creative aspect of it.
It's just, they should be ashamed by the fact that they used to be younger than they currently are. Stan will die. Gravity Falls fans believe that there were several elements foreshadowing Stan's death. Almost every replica of him gets destroyed in some form. His wax figure is murdered, a table of Stanyatas are smashed, we get a prolonged shot of his sock puppet on fire, we get a prolonged shot of the I Eat Kids balloon. In the Land Before Swine, the geyser blasts everyone up into the church, and Stan lands in a coffin. In Dipper and Mabel versus the Future, there's a skull in a box with an arrow in the background which is pointing up at Stan. The theory posits that these are all very intentional elements of foreshadowing to Stan's eventual fate. I think this is the most reasonable theory out of everything.
I actually believe that.
Because look at this shit.
I know,
like,
yeah, no,
there's
I was
a
looking through
skull
these.
in a box with an arrow pointing directly at Stan. It's like...
Like him in a coffin? Okay.
Yeah, like he lands in a coffin.
Yeah, like, okay, I can see how it's just a comedic effect, but...
These seem like foreshadowing to me, honestly.
I agree, but also, I honestly thought that Stan was gonna die or Stanford was gonna die or something. I thought a main character was gonna die in some sort of way, but they didn't end up making that way. But
I guess it kind of happened because he lost his memory, but then he got them back like 3 minutes of screen time later.
Yeah, right.
I'll give this one honestly a 10 because those are absolutely things that you would use in a narrative to foreshadow someone's fate.
I was gonna
landing
say 10.
in a coffin, just everything on fire, the skull in the box.
I also think that like part of the thing is like they don't like Stan, or Stan's just kind of like that guy. Anything of him, his semblance is gonna be burned.
Just bullying Stan.
No!
Bill!
I'm sorry.
The journal fell on a rock for like a second earlier, and I picked it up and it was just sticky. So I don't know what's on the rocks over here. Oh, don't even. Anyway, Gideon is a vampire. In Tourist Trapped, Mabel says she'd like to date a vampire next. Then her next on-screen date is with Gideon in episode 4. He's pale, his hair is white, which means he's old. You know who else is old? Vampires. Boom.
You know what else is?
This is the Whittlest Vampire as like a little TV show they watched in Into the Bunker. So,
yeah, no. You know what else is old? Dude, this little kid, isn't Gideon like 10?
He's 10,000. It is weird that they gave him like dyed hair. It's so funny.
I think he wears a wig or something like that. He's got to. 10-year-old wearing this big Victorian wig. Looks like a founding father. 0. Actually, I'm gonna give it a 0.1 for creativity.
0.1 for creativity.
I do agree. There was something you were connecting there, but not today.
The Bill Cipher wheel is how we're gonna wrap this up, all right? So at the end of the show's theme song, a mysterious wheel would always flash for 1 frame. Bill Cipher, surrounded by a ring of symbols. So what really happened is that Alex Hirsch and the team just collected some random art assets and threw them together in a way that looked vaguely mysterious. There were no plans for the wheel to factor into the story. However, fans began speculating that each symbol on the wheel corresponded to a specific character, which is fair because 7 of them clearly did. But there was also a bag of ice, a pair of glasses, and a llama from one of Mabel's sweaters. So maybe the ice represented Wendy because she was cool in personality, and Dipper was getting ice for her both times the bag showed up. Maybe it was Blendon because Dipper ran into him while carrying ice, and time travel was maybe cold or something. The glasses were probably Stan's secret brother because he wore them in the flashback from Time Traveler's Pig, and Stan Lee kind of cradled them. Mabel held up a llama sweater in the mirror, so it was probably a mirror to Mabel, a Pacifica, or Lebam. And all of these were just so flimsy and meaningless and just grasping at straws. There was no theory on the Bill Cipher wheel that I ever believed because I thought they were all stupid. So the Gravity Falls team still didn't know what it was for a long time, and the Stanturian candidate, Gideon, uses the wheel to summon Bill, which really is at odds with what it's supposed to be, which is, as is introduced in Weirdmageddon Part 3, his ancient weakness that Ford apparently found in a cave. So that despite the fact that Ford's glasses were literally on the wheel, Ford has to be the 6-fingered hand, and so then they say the glasses just have to be someone scholarly, and it gets to be McGucket. Pacifica happens to wear that random llama jacket, just the post-credit tag of episode 3, and then she gets to stand on the wheel. Ford says that the ice bag is just someone cool under the face of pressure, and Wendy gets to step up. It was just complete
utter
nothing
chaos.
Logic, and at the time I was like, really? This is what they're going with? But looking back at it, I'm so happy that they did that because that was like the embodiment of Gravity Falls theorization. So it's like the final mystery of the show was just solved by the random nonsense kids on YouTube came up with. And it's like the ultimate nod to the random guessing that happened in the many years before the show.
Honestly, that was always my favorite thing to theorize about. In my head, I never like made the YouTube videos or Tumblr or anything like that, but like just thinking about, you know, at the end of every episode that showed up, and I always thought like, there's gotta be more to that. If I ever paused and like looked at it, there's gotta be more to that.
What I appreciate is that basically the fans of the show came up with the answer themselves for its final mystery, the Bill Cipher wheel. Like that's just so sweet, you know? Like I like that. It was the ultimate way to end this. And that was the ultimate way to end this YouTube video. And I
10 out of 10.
Oh yeah.
Just quickly, the last episode was one of the best I've ever seen of a TV show. Like the 2 seasons that they gave us was probably some of the best.
Like it's really good, man.
It's really good.
It's such a masterpiece.
Yeah.
Compared to average showrunners, Alex Hirsch had like no experience. He was just thrown into it, and it turned out so goddamn well.
So good.
10 years since the show came out, there's still such a massive fandom. There are still, like, just in the time we were setting up during evening, there's probably 5 different cars that drove past to see this statue.
Yeah. And
oh yeah.
And some kid, I don't know, left,
some adult.
someone
literally
left
just
this
left
thing
a note
and just said, "This show means the world to me, and I am happy I could go see Bill Cipher in real life. Hee hee." And a bunch of people signed their their ats on Twitter, and it just said, if you're here, send me a picture. And I think that's so sweet, and all of these people did that.
It's just such a lightning in a bottle show, dude. I love Gravity Falls. Bill, I'm gonna give you one last chance if you want to say anything. If there's anything you want us to say to the internet at large, just let us know, man. Shit! That sounded like Bill. Bitch.
There are countless mysteries in the Pacific Northwest. At least 9. The question of whether or not Bill Cipher is real, or simply a fictional character created by Alex Hirsch and Disney for the show Gravity Falls, will remain unsolved.
I've wanted to do a BuzzFeed Unsolved homage for so long. Back in high school, my friend and I, we were gonna do like a paranormal investigation into our high school's auditorium. We were gonna call it Spooky Spooky Ghost Time Unsolved. Okay, we interviewed our theater teacher who said she saw a ghost. We interviewed some like crackhead pathological liar who said a demon threw a Bible at him. I believe him. Just as we were getting up and amping up our investigation, the whole world shut down. Do you know what I think happened? The ghosts caused COVID because we were gonna be onto them. We were gonna expose them. Dude, on the final episode of BuzzFeed Unsolved, I commented, finally, I can unsubscribe from BuzzFeed. Then the comment just disappeared, like someone removed it, and you know what I think happened? The ghosts took it.